SHOT Show 2015 at the Hardcore booth with Brian. How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you, brother. Good. You enjoying your show?
Oh yeah, so far so good.
Of course, you might as well. except for that eye twitch you had just a minute ago.
Oh, that's right. I said I've been here for 4 days. We're doing a whole bunch of things and meeting a lot of people. So it's a little bit of a drinking from a fire hose kind of thing. You know, you get a lot all at once. But it's a good show.
If you start toning out, just do this, and I'll
we're good.
We'll get you going. Okay. So do you have something new for 2015? Let me back up a little bit. How long have you been in business?
The total business, as far as coming to the U.S., we've had about 2 years, going on a third year now. In Australia, it's a little bit more than that. We've had about 4 or 5 in total. So the new to the U.S. market, as far as the whole packages and all the different tools that we offer, there's not quite as much history with a lot of other companies. But what that means is that we can go ahead and kind of provide things to the market that we've seen how we can do it better. We've seen ways we can do it different. Sometimes it doesn't always have to be better than somebody else. It doesn't have to be competing, but sometimes we can innovate and create new products that can be used by a lot of different groups.
Right. Now, there's Tough Rider and there's Hardcore.
Yeah.
Is it one and the same?
We're good friends. That's about it.
Just really good friends.
Sharing some shot at
Kind of go up there. And so are you Hardcore or are you Tough Rider?
Hardcore Hardware, Australia. Yep. It's HHA.
Yep.
So when you look at the logo, I said that's what it is. Hardcore Hardware, Australia.
Yeah.
So we happen to be their U.S. Representatives. It's where they're U.S. distributors. Everything that comes through the country comes through our doors first and shipped out into the waiting arms of the American public who love tomahawks, knives, and sharp goodness. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. And about how much, what percentage do you think ends up in a safe?
Very little, actually.
Who knows?
No,
Yeah.
I can take a guess, but honestly, all these tools are designed to be used.
Exactly.
We're not at the price point where people are wondering, like, I may never be able to afford another one.
Right.
And so I need to go ahead and make sure my safe queen stays pretty, and they're petting it and putting it in a satin pillow every evening.
It's a little unsettling, isn't it?
Well, I'm sure it happens. Don't get me wrong, but again, most of these tools are designed to be used.
Replacement value is not extreme.
No.
Okay.
And again, they're working knives, but they're at the top end of the spectrum for working tools.
Right.
They make sure that they're not going to break. They make sure that if they do break, we want to know how it happened because we'd be very curious to see it. They've really been over-engineered. Everything is right around, you're talking about 6.5 millimeters, 6 millimeters, right around there for most of the tools. Again, we're going with the metric system, so to us Americans and other people who are not using the King's English, that would be most right around 1/4 inch or thicker. We don't have anything that's in the 3/16 inch. Everything's going to be pretty solid, which means pretty robust, which means for some of our hawks, when you're getting into like these kind of things, which is 0.31 in decimal thickness, you can't technically break that with mechanical human power. Maybe like 9 guys pulling together in unison, you might be able to go ahead and pull that off.
With a little extra leverage.
Yeah,
maybe.
but otherwise you're looking at a mechanical impossibility, which is again why I said we'd want to see how you did it. Not because we're trying to doubt you, but we'd be really curious to see how that rolled, how that occurred, and make sure we couldn't do it again in the future.
So what's relatively new for either late 2014 or 2015?
Okay, well the first one is, I'll go ahead and give you, this is our Compact Tactical Tomahawk, or CTT. That's the baby of our lineup. That is just all around, as one gentleman who's familiar with our company put it, handheld anarchy. You can go ahead and do a lot of different damage with that. It's a relatively small tool. It's only about 10 inches in overall length. But it has a lot of different functionality and a lot of different flexibility in it. First thing that's a little interesting is it's not black. It's actually a graphite gray, but all of our tools are a Teflon-based coating. So what that means is that unlike Cerakote or some other coatings that people are familiar with, this is unique. It is proprietary, but it's colored Teflon. So the black, the coyote, and even blue for the trainers, which I'll just give you a demo right there. You can see it. So they're all different colors, but what that means is that it has a high wear resistance, has a little bit integrated lubricity to the actual coating, and it's hard to wear off. So this is an extremely overbuilt, robust hawk.
What's the thickness on that?
It's over 0.35, but I actually can't remember off the top of my head. I don't have a caliber.
So somewhat over 0.35.
Oh yeah, it's like I said, it's more robust than any of the other ones. So these are, the other hawk is 0.31, so these are definitely over that size. Right. It's overbuilt because what happens is when you take the leverage point to be able to go ahead and use here, and you reduce the leverage down, in order to maintain the ability to deliver strong, crushing blows, you actually have to increase the mass. So this allows this hawk to still have the same punch as something of
much
this
thicker.
size.
Yeah.
So the way that works is it just moves. I mean, that's simple physics, but when you apply it to tools, it really works. Make sure the world works the way it needs to with physics, gravity, and power, and we all get where we need to go. All of our hawks have the ability to go ahead and be integrated with our carry systems, because a Hawk is only as good as the sheath that it's in, just like a good tool, good holster, that kind of thing. So same Hawk, just in black instead of the specialized graphite. But the way that G10 works, we have everything torqued in here. All of our systems, whether it's the Hawks or the knives, come with both Moly Lock and a tech lock. So your standard tech lock comes with them, but we get both.
Very
so
good.
in this case, it allows you a lot of modularity. You can go ahead and swap them out for whatever you want. When they're attached to a belt bag, pack, or person, 90% of our tools are jump rated for military spec, so if you decide to throw yourself out of a perfectly good airplane, you're not going to have to worry about your Hawk flying down and creating a major incident when it hits somebody's house. These are all, again, ambidextrous for use, so your screw sets here are anti-rotational screw sets.
And besides, they would just hear from you instead of the guy.
That's true, because you'd want to go get it.
Yeah.
But they can go ahead and swap these for ambidextrous for use. The thumb studs also allow you to go ahead and roll those over. Everything takes a little bit of patience, but once you get it down, you can go exactly where you need it to go.
Well, most guys will have a little bit of time to get prepped.
Exactly. But it's a one-way directional snap, so again, it's not going anywhere. You go ahead and pop this out, and it's out. So it's very, very quick. Go ahead and put it back in, lock it back in, and you're good to go.
It's a nice compact package.
Yep, and all of our Hawks have the same exact thing. This is attached to a drop leg to show you how it would attach to the Moly locks, and this would be through the LFT-01, which is our best-selling Hawk. Consistently, year after year, we've been able to go ahead and maintain that. People just love Tomahawks. So we have a whole bunch of other tools, different versions of some tools. We have a whole range from smaller items. We've just introduced folders, which is the other thing I was going to go to right in front of you.
Okay. I was just going to kind of pan down. These are some of your other designs that you've had. Now, how long have you been in business here in the States?
It's about 2 years in total, so we're going about 2.5.
Okay, very good.
I may have said something different a minute ago. But
No, that's okay.
Just trying to think off the top of my head.
Let's go into the folder then.
No problem. The folders are actually pretty interesting. It took us about 1.5 years to come up with the different blade shapes, not only for functional use and ability, but also to make sure that we were trying to get something that nobody designs in a vacuum, so I'm sure there are going to be similarities at some point down the line.
Well,
but
a knife is a point and edge. Well, most of them have a point, an edge, and some geometry.
Sure, but we try to figure out something that at least looks a little different from other people's stuff. But the functional use comes first, and then we go from there. So to break it down, at first it's an S30V blade, so that allows us some good quality steel behind it. Allows us to go ahead and have a nice solid point, some nice recurve to it, and then from there it kind of gets interesting. We changed a couple of things up from the standard knives. The first thing is it has a kind of little edge there that allows me to know exactly by feel where my hand is on that knife, some immediate jimping. But if I move back here, there's a small thumb dish, so I can still actually get a good back grip here, and this still allows me to go ahead and actually do a power assist. Yep, and I can go ahead and do a couple of different things with it. When I move back, that jimping is right here, that's right there, and because in Australia you can go ahead and actually can open it one-handed, the thumb studs are removable. A single drop of red Loctite will go ahead and make that lifetime of the knife. You won't have to worry about it. But solid pocket clip, if tip up, tip down carry, you can change it for however you want. Jimping on the back really locks your hand into those little areas. You're able to really do what you need to do with them. And the other thing that's interesting is this is a steel frame lock. So when we're looking at it here, just a standard steel frame lock, you can go ahead and lock this in. The nice part about this, though, it's a little bit different, is that because the one side is a G10 scale, we went ahead and created a laminate construction to reduce the weight. So what this means is that, like a lot of laminate constructed items, when they have layers compressed into a tight area, it actually replicates strength as though it's a single piece. Now obviously there's some limits to it, but the way that this works is you've got steel, a G10 spacer through the whole of the back, steel liner, and then a G10 frame on the other side for the scale. So ultimately that creates a much lighter overall knife. We've had several people mistake this for titanium, and that's a good thing, because ultimately we're not paying the price for titanium as far as cost goes. It's simple steel, machined well, turned out well, good old lanyard hole, let you do a lot with it, but it's not going to break the bank, and again, not going to have to be a safe queen just because you found a nice folder.
What do you think price point on this folder would be?
At the max, it's right around $230 as a ballpark.
$230?
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that that's not a lot for a folder, but again, we're talking about a lifetime warranty. We're talking about if you manage to jack this up really good, and we'll replace it. We're not even talking about, okay, send it back and we'll fix it. No, we'll go ahead and get you a brand new one.
Roll out a new one and go. So.
And we said, but again, if you do something to it, it's not that we're doubting you. We are actually curious to see how we can improve these. So $230 for a knife that has that kind of a warranty and that kind of a backing, but it has also been over-engineered. I mean, I don't think you're going to go ahead and crack this out too bad if you manage to do something really crazy to it. Sure, if you're doing something like standing on it while it's jammed in a wall, you might have a problem. But
well, you know, you have to do that about 2 or 3 times a month. So now this is available with a black scale.
That's correct. Yep.
Or your tan scale.
Yeah, the darker.
Everybody's got their nice
exactly.
color configuration, almost like you're painting the kitchen or something. But well, you guys call it darker.
Yeah, the deal is that the folders, like I said, have the prototypes for everything. These are the first 2 in production existence.
Right.
So they're here at SHOT because it's SHOT.
When do you expect production to be available?
6 months. We'll have them right in time for the Blade Show. And so everybody will be there and able to go ahead. That's why we're bringing them out now. Raise awareness, get people interested in them, and then you can go ahead and find out more and actually purchase them when you're at Blade.
So folks will be able to purchase them in Atlanta during Blade.
That's what we're anticipating, and barring anything crazy happening with production, that's what we're aiming for.
Okay, and West Hills, I just noticed you're down there, so...
Actually, they typed CA, I said PA, as in Pennsylvania, and I said, can we change it? And he said, no. And I went, all right, I'll tell everybody that.
That's fine. Yeah, we're Cali. Okay, you have a safe trip home, brother.
Thank you.